Oh, we got some dogs. All right, hold tight, guys. All the feeds are firing up. We're going live in 4 places here. We'll get this show rocking and rolling in just a few seconds here. I got the countdown. All right, everybody. Good morning. I am Nick Slavik. I'm the proprietor of the Nick Slavik Painting and Restoration Company. I'm also the host of this show, Estimator Live. It's a weekly live show where I use my over 3 decades of experience in this craft, where we talk about coding science, entrepreneurship, and all the good stuff. And today I am back in the war room. I have been traveling around. The peak of my traveling probably occurred about a week or two ago, like that. But now we are solid. We are stable. Good morning, everybody. I'm going to open this show up to any of your questions, any of your topics. But I thought I'd start by giving you some. I already see some questions coming through. I've already. I want to give you guys some updates. So there's people are getting a little freaky about economics and things like that. So I just wanted to give you some economic data points that I'm experiencing and see if you guys have the same thing. But number one, we have to make sure that you guys understand about the PCA Business Accelerator. PCA members and people who go through the business training on average are 15 times larger, more professional, more profitable than the average painting contractor. I have a link in my in the show notes for this one. There's also a link in the bio there if you guys want one of those. I'm taking up a little bit of a pause from travel. I'm slowing it down because I want to lean into my business, lean into my family now that my kids are out of school here for the summer. But I do have the big summer retreat coming up in August. That's going to be a big one. One of the biggest retreats I've ever done. Some pretty awesome people. I'll be at Tom Reber's Mile High Summit later this year in September. Also, the annual SurfPrep Masters class in SoCal as well. I will be there in late September. We're kind of looking at that 27 September, give or take. I also have a link to the PCA's brand new updated event page, including the expo. So you guys can go. We've announced a location for expo. Get there, get your rooms. We will probably take up most of that entire historic Broadmoor estate. So I would tell you guys, get your rooms now and stay on site. I know some people like the Airbnbs, but being right there on the premise is a big thing. So, all right, everybody, if you have questions, comments, we'll get to there. AJ Paintworks and Instagram, I'll get to your question in just a second here. I want to give you guys some economic updates and things that have been going on. I've noticed some interesting things. I'm the moderator of quite a few painting Facebook groups, and it's been really interesting. Anecdotal, of course, but you can see trends in the comments, in the questions, and the topics that people suggest. And I've noticed a pretty clear delineation between about 2 years ago and now from what people are talking about. About 2 years ago, people were talking about no good people, and now they're talking about my schedule's empty. And I've also started to see a really interesting trend about downsizing recently too. So I know they're anecdotal. I know that I probably only see 10 or 20 data points, but I do take a step back from them. I look at them in aggregate, and there are some trends going on right now like that. So now I'm going to start this entire conversation with anybody who tracks the economic data of our industry, and anybody who collects a lot of basic data in their businesses and analyzes it. We're still under the belief that in the residential painting industry, especially repaint, that you are not limited by externalities. You're only limited by your ability to execute your business plan. So if your leads are down this month, it's not likely due to the macro economy, world events, a political election, inflation, things like that. I bet you can find something in your business that you did or didn't do to cause that. And number one, right now, we know that 99% of almost all of our businesses in this industry are largely unprofessionalized. They don't have a lot of things written down. And again, this is not a value judgment for me, but when somebody says my leads are drying up and I don't have any work, it's likely because they've never consistently, intentionally put their name out there. Now, this doesn't mean you have to get with a marketing agency. This just means that you have to do something. And there's kind of the quadrinity of nearly free things you can do to set yourself apart. One of them being just having a website. That could be 10, 20 bucks a month, give or take. A Google listing, that's how you show up on Google Maps. That's free. Facebook and Instagram. And honestly, minus the $20 a month website, give or take $50 a month website, if you just get on there and post once a day and do some things like that consistently all the time, magically, you probably won't run into a lot of these things here. The people who generally run out of work or say, there's no leads or there's no jobs and I'm downsizing, typically what happens is you get busy, you don't do any of that stuff. That work dries up, and then you're like, well, listen, now there's nobody out there. Well, it's because you didn't consistently market. So I will share some analytics from you guys here. So this is a spreadsheet of all the leads, and every one of the blocks you see is 1 week of the leads that come through. The trend that I'm seeing this year is there's actually a lot of consistency. The more consistent that I get with marketing with my company, the more consistent I see my leads come in. Now, in the past, we've always braced ourselves for a spring rush, right? So typically in Minnesota and the upper Midwest and other areas of the country, what you'll find is a large demand in spring. Typically, it happens in late April and May in Minnesota, and then typically it happens in September again, because in Minnesota, people hibernate, and then it's nice out, and then they all just get after it. They want all their projects done, grad parties and everything else. There's usually a lull in summer when everybody takes vacations and time off, and then when all that work didn't get done, they get real excited about that work again in September and then into October. The most interesting thing is you could look at my data and say, well, listen, we're having very consistent leads come in. And so you could say, well, there's no spring rush. I honestly can't say that, right? You could say that maybe my marketing isn't effective, because we used to have weeks, we're probably getting between 40 and 50 leads a week right now. We've had as many as 75, 85 a week during these spring rushes, things like that. But I'm still under belief that we cause all this stuff. And I'm not even saying that's bad. I would rather have consistent leads all the time instead of this surging up and down. So for years and years, I've been preparing my team for crazy surges in spring and fall and things like that. Honestly, when you look at the last 3 years, we maybe touched one of those where there was a little bit of a surge, but really the other years have been consistent. That's actually better. That's actually better. So we don't have these crazy ups and downs in the schedules, things like that. I will tell you this. Why is there no technical spring rush in my company? Why? I'll say this. Um, I have been dead consistent with marketing for about 3 years right now. And we've actually settled into a really, really good pattern over the last 12 months when I do these marketing experiments, where instead of shifting a lot of my marketing like super heavy. We used to go 80 to 90% in the winter and then peter out in the summer. I've been even lowering that in the winter, doing more marketing overall, just having a little more consistent throughout the year. And magically, when you look at the data, the leads are more consistent. So the company is very healthy right now. We got tons of stuff coming in. And of course, we hit our summer stride where, there isn't enough daylight hours. There isn't enough man hours and things like that to get all it done. But the one trend I'm noticing is that has nothing to do with the macroeconomy, has everything to do with being a consistent professional, which is getting consistent marketing proven by data that works out so you can support your company and keep your people's not only schedules full, but productive as well too. So what you're seeing here is the analytics from that. And it's just it's an interesting trend I've seen. You could always point to an externality and say, well, this is happening in the market, this is that. But honestly, the biggest difference is I changed a lot of stuff over the whole bunch of years doing these marketing experiments. The more consistent I got, the more consistent the leads got. So if that's any lesson for you, that's a wonderful thing. And let's get to question. AJ Paintworks, what do you recommend for estimate production rates? These are all things. Let me know if this answers your question. These are things you have to come up with yourself. Now, there's ways that you can get a head start. I know that there's some software companies, Estimate Rocket, Drip Job, Paint Scout, things like this, that may or may not have some of those cooked into their stuff already. I know the PCA has 2 estimating guides. I believe volume 2 has all the production rates that you can start off with. Now, they're not going to be perfect, and you'll probably be like, well, hey, that's too fast, that's too slow. It's like, well, you still got to come up with these by yourself. So what do you recommend for estimate production rates? If you're looking at eventually, I think that question is, well, how do I know what to charge for things based on production rates? Here's the thing. You have to do some work. You have to measure the work either by area or volume or something else. You have to track your time and then your revenue. And then you can basically come up with, for a cabinet project, how many doors and drawers can a person complete in an hour? For interior wall painting projects, you sold it for this. It took you this much time to produce. You can even track the paint for spread rates. And you can say, this person on this day can complete this much interior wall in this amount of hours. And then you assign a charge rate to that, right? If you charge a job and you know you have that much, you take your charge rate divided by your revenue, and it'll tell you what you charge per square foot or linear foot or things like that. Now, this won't be perfect. You have to track it over time because people have ups and downs, right? And some projects are a little more harder, a little more easier, but you're going to find some through lines through it like that. We did this for years and years and years, to the point where we're not really surprised by a lot of the production rates. I will tell you this, it doesn't mean they're consistent. It means that they're all over the place, but they're actually all over the place consistent. So what we did was we said, well, that's fine. My production rate is much different than a 3 month apprentice in my company. So what we need to do is actually then go out and do market rate or unit pricing, which is we need to charge the most we can while filling a schedule. And we're going to train the living hell and support the living hell out of our people so that we can produce it profitably. So we actually came with the end in mind, saying we want to charge the most we can, obviously while the client gets value. The schedule has to be full. And when we produce it, it has to be produced profitably. And I left it up to me and my company to basically then say, it's up to us to sort of train the heck out of our people to hit these numbers, and we can. It's a pretty cool thing. So, AJ Paintworks, I hope that helped. I can't tell you a price because there is way. So I'm not one of those guys who says we can't talk about price. I am one of those guys who says you need to come up with your own number. We can toss some numbers around, but they're uninformed, right? They're uninformed, and they're not going to tell you how to fix this in the future. And as a matter of fact, if I gave you all my production rates, you may lose your tail on stuff like that, because we are a big company. We need a lot of work. And in many ways, we actually charge less than a lot of other paint companies because we can produce so much work, so valuable, and we're so good at it. We just have a different value prop like that. So if everybody were to be fired from my company and I would go back down to solo, I would be very tempted to double or triple my prices because the demand is very high. So data points for you as far as that goes. So yeah. All right. Let's see. Thank you everybody for watching on Instagram this morning. Open to any questions, any comments. I'm just giving you guys some economic updates here. And then I'm going to pick off questions as we go, but I'm going to be sharing stuff like this, my lead sheet, with you guys, and seeing how we're doing. What was a step to train multiple people at the same time, on-site or off-site? So which works better in your opinion? Well, I mean, for me, I think you guys know where I stand on this. I have a training facility. Now, I hate to even call it a luxury because it's such a basic thing, right? It doesn't have to be a facility. It doesn't have to be all these training modules. It can literally be your own house or a friend's house. I am a big fan of at least giving people their initial training away from the watchful eyes of a client. You want to lower the stress as much as you can for the initial training for people, because most of the time we're getting people who've never been in the trades. So new people, new company, new trade, new everything. And you want to lower their stress level so that they learn better. So however you can do that for your company, typically that's a very thoughtful, very empathetic, very kind, very mentory sort of person teaching that person. And if you can do it away from a real job site and a client, that's even better. In my facility, we have a fake bedroom, fake kitchen, fake bathroom. And for 1 week, a master crafts person oversaw by me has all of the training done in the first week. And then we assign them a crew leader and send them out. If you do not have a training facility, you can mimic this by bringing them to your own house. You can call a family member or a neighbor or a friend and say, we have an apprentice. We need to train somebody, and for 4 days, we'll do a vanity, we'll do a bathroom, we'll do a bedroom, and you can train there. I would just give the work away for free and just say either that or you buy the paint, I'll supply the labor, and give us a couple rooms in your house and let's train. And it just kind of is what it is. But be upfront and honest what you do with them. Questions. Train multiple people at the same time. Honestly, it takes the same amount of effort to train 1 people as it does 3. So in my company, we always double up at least on apprentices, where we always have 2 people in there. And that seems to be a very good thing, because it honestly, it doesn't cost any more to train that. You already have all your modules set up. You already have a trainer there. I'd rather have 2 people. It also lessens that stress level of everybody's looking at me. I'm the brand new apprentice, one of those things. So from Instagram, Liquid Painting LLC, 10 plus years of painting, 3rd year in business. I strive for quality and I've only had referrals. So this is not me pushing back. This is not me getting spicy, Liquid Painting. But I will say this. I hear this comment a lot, which is, I pride myself on never having marketed. And that's fine, except that the industry stats are this. The average paint company in the United States is 1.5 people. It goes out of business in 18 months and it takes home $43,000 a year. So there are people that I know that can have a 30-year business that only go on word of mouth. They're typically one or two person operations, things like that. If you ever want to get bigger than that, you're gonna have to figure out a way to solve leads and labor. You're gonna have to put effort marketing and recruiting for not only clients but labor as well too. This is not me saying you have to do that. This is me saying most of the people I talk to live in two worlds. They want to get out of the brush. They want to grow a larger business so it's not relying on them. They might be able to sell it later. And then also, they're very proud about having only word of mouth and repeat and referral. Um, I've never seen a company go over a million, million and a half, 2 million on only word of mouth, repeat, referral for any stated number of times. Now, I know there's little blips, there's little like anomalies out there. People that have been around for 30 years, they got 7 guys, they're doing $1.1 million and they never advertise. That's fine. But the problem is, if you don't take control of some of that marketing, you don't have any ways to affect when the leads come in. You're basically the at the mercy of all your clients and when they want the work. And typical, when you get in a larger company, you start worrying about seasonality. Sometimes in the South, it's super hot and then the summer slows down. In the winter, the Christmas trees go up in the northern climates in the Midwest and work slows down. And if you got all these families reliant on you, having consistency is the thing that makes people the most happy. They don't want wild swings of, again, we're not landscapers. We're not working 110 hours in the summer and laid off in the winter. If you want to maintain a really good, amazing workforce, you're going to have to keep them just consistent 41 hours a week, 50 weeks a year, boom, 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 things like that. So mindful painting, good to see you on IG. Good to see you on IG. Oscar Milan, also good to see you. Asha, Lotus Painting on Instagram. Good to see you as well, friend of the company. All right, let's go on to the next little data point for you guys here. All right, here we go, folks. And I will say this. I bring this up because to oversimplify everything, you know and love Ask a Painter for its oversimplification. To oversimplify everything, based on the economy, based on how things are going, we typically have a teeter-totter that goes between us having to solve two problems, leads and labor. Sometimes it's harder to find labor and leads are easier. Sometimes it's harder to find leads, but labor is harder, things like that. And to oversimplify the entire economy of home service markets, we've basically been in a 15-year swing since the last housing crisis, the Great Recession, where leads were fairly easy to find and labor was tough. Remember, for 15 years, there's no good people out there. Well, I've been seeing two interesting data points, which is the amount of organic applications for working in my company has gone up precipitously. Right. I've also known that we've had to do a lot more intentional marketing to make sure that we sort of like have intentional leads. So now what we do is we've shifted a little of our time and money away from recruiting humans to work in the company to now recruiting clients out there, because I'm seeing a shift in that generally. Now, what I will say is this: I can't point to a major economic trend that affects me, because I still think we're kind of like a micro business. We're flying under the radar. I will say this: I might just be the size of my business too. I do notice that the larger and more professional you get, it eventually, labor becomes a little easier to solve than the leads. The leads and the jobs become the thing that you have to put a little more effort for. I'm not saying they're harder to get. I'm saying you have to be more intentional about that sort of thing. So mindful painting, my good friend from Instagram. Hope you had a killer vacation. We had a great vacation. So me and the Kuipers got together on Topsail Island, and it was an amazing time. We have some very generous friends that made this vacation happen for all of us, and it was great to connect our companies and our families for that sort of thing. That was just awesome. So, all right. Oh my God, here we go. Aaron Shaver, past apprentice and master craftsperson in my company, moved with his family down to Texas, started up a painting company, and I absolutely love this guy. He's doing great things and great things in the industry. So good to see you, man. Love the show. I've actively applied the wisdom from this show to my business, and it's always made myself, my business team better. Steve, you always got kind words from me, man. I appreciate you. All right, so next thing I want to show you guys is we have, let's get some fancy graphs on the screen. So one of the things that I've been doing over the years to help myself sleep better and help myself plan better as well too for my people is I've been tracking the the amount of revenue that we produce, like the timing of what we actually produce, not sales. I'm not that interested in sales. We're doing the tracking of the timing of revenue when we produce it. And over the years, we find some pretty cool similarities where I've tracked it on at least this graph for the last 4 years. We've done 2020, 21, 22, 23. We find some pretty easy similarities there. We find spikes in summer, things like that. And that helps me that allows me to actually make goals for the next year, which is pretty cool. Instead of just taking our revenue goal, divide by 52 weeks, and that's a pretty dumb kind of thing. We track the percentage of revenue that's produced in each month, and then we decide, is that going to be our budget or not? And then I apply the actual over it. So this has shown me that we are becoming a little more seasonal, but not because we do less in winter and more in summer, kind of a graph like this. We've always produced about the same amount interior work all year round. We just added a whole bunch of exteriors. So now what we're seeing is we didn't take away from the shoulder season. We actually just have everything the same and just added a bunch to the summer. So what you're seeing here is really interesting anomaly that I have in my produced graph this year, which is in 2021, 2022, you can see the timing, the purple and the blue graph. I'm going to back that up for you guys, are almost nearly identical with how we produce revenue. That's just how it works, right? The size of the company, we're growing, and it's kind of eerily predictable. So now you can actually go towards like 2023 and then lay out some goals. And I will show you this. A lot of people have seen my master's classes, have seen this, and I'll get to your questions in Instagram here. The one interesting thing we set 8 revenue records in 2023 for monthly production. And there's one big spike you see here. That's when we completely retooled our production management process, and it was an awesome month. We set a single month revenue and profit record in the 16-year history of the company, and a new process. Now you can see my green. We actually started the year a little behind where we were, even in 2022. We're about even with 2023. 2022, we had a big year. I think we had some new construction contracts at that time. We're about even again with 2023. Then we started moving up the curve in 2024. Anomalous month, not a bad month. We basically equaled what it was the year previous, but for some reason, April was a little bit of a slog for us. I think we had a whole bunch of people ill. We had some odd weather where we tried to get outside, didn't really do all that well. But either way, we actually were, if you minus out 2022, we had an anomalous year right here. We're actually on trend there. And in fact, we're actually going to move past trend by the end of May, which is Friday, the end of that. And if we produce about the same amount we did the week previous, we're actually going to be ahead of our revenue production going into summer. So my prediction was we're going to ramp up in spring. I'd like to plateau off. I want to get rid of this big, again, I want to be consistent, not extreme. So I'm going to move my revenue production. You can see my goal for the year is to have it above last year, but have it be a little more of a plateau and then come back down here. In fact, I'd like to cut the top of that mountain off and more have a straight plateau through summer, a little more consistency than that. So honestly, we're about right on track with revenue, possibly a little ahead. I'm going to wait to see what my people produced last week now that I got back from vacation. But I'm looking at their preliminary numbers, and it looks like we did another amazing month. They might be about 30% ahead for the week, especially for holiday week. We work a 4-day work week, and Monday was a national holiday. So, all right. Let's get back to some IG stuff right here. Keeney, hope you had a great turkey season. Love the pictures. Oh, yeah, no worries. That was awesome. I got great friends, man. There's something to say about good friends where we have Elliot and Chris that find us turkey hunting spots for my son. And we had the greatest. We went 3 for 3 this year. My son got a monster tom, 10.5-inch beard, 1.5 spurs, just amazing, amazing bird, old bird, possibly a 3 to 4-year-old tom, Northwoods tom there. And it was amazing. My friend just helped that out. Big League Paid from Instagram. What's your average sales ratio in May and June? About how many opportunities do you give your estimators a month? All right. What's your average sales ratio? I'm assuming you're probably talking about success ratio, give or take. I like to get my people on average about 18 estimates a piece in May, give or take. So we want to do about 36 to 40 estimates as a company total. And my people last year had a 45.5% success ratio. And this year they're right at about that, maybe 46.8, 45.8 right there. So they sell just under half the jobs that they sell, or they sell just under half the estimates that they do, give or take. Hope that helps out. Let's see if we got any more. Yep. I'm just giving you guys some economic updates here. And then I'm also just data trends that I'm seeing in my company and when I travel around. And also, if you guys got any other questions, any other comments, just post them in Facebook and Instagram. I'm trolling. I'll give you guys economic updates, and I'll also throw in some questions here. So J. Carey painting. Do you recommend Facebook and Instagram marketing? Yes, I do. And I do a couple things here. I want to show you guys. Let's see if I can pull my. Oh, we got a lot of tabs open here, guys. Okay, so let's see. I'm going to pull up something for you guys just to give you a little flavor. All right, showing the screen. Here's my Google Calendar. Typical week for me. All right, Google, reboot. There you go. All right. I scheduled myself some marketing, and I have gotten my strategy over the last bunch of years has been this. And anybody who's seen my master's classes, I share you all the data from this stuff from you about how we get leads to support about a $3.5 million company, give or take. So here's what we do. Years ago, I just shoveled money at it and hoped that people would solve this for me, and it did not work. So now what we do, we actually probably do about you think about solving problems with time and money. And what I do is a very diversified thing. There's about 13 things I tap every week, give or take, most of them being free and some are being paid. I do a combination. Facebook and Instagram is part of the quadrinity. To me, basic entry level to even be considered a business nowadays is website, Google listing, Facebook, Instagram. You got to make it easy for people to get to you. In total, 20 to 50 bucks a month for a website, Google free, Facebook free, Instagram free. Now, what I do is a diversified thing where those are obviously where most of the people are. So I pay to have a website, a really cool website up and running. I pay Google to do some advertising. I also get on Google and do some posting for free. I pay Facebook and Instagram for some marketing, but I also get on there and organically post for free. So really that's the low hanging fruit with the marketing stuff. You don't even have to pay a lot. You have to just test out some ads and you have to track your marketing, right? So if you go back to this, right, you can actually look on this sheet here. We track all our marketing. If you don't do this, all your marketing spend is basically worthless, give or take. You're going to make some poor decisions. So there's a column, and this is right here. That says, where do you hear about us from? And when you have a marketing sheet like this, what you can do is you can actually sort Z to A. There we go. Look at, we have right here, this is all the leads from Facebook so far this year. We have, we got about 160 leads from Facebook already this year, give or take. And those are just the ones that say that. Our flyer marketing, previous clients is quite big. We even have newspaper, vans, all this other stuff. But now you can actually start searching on where people find you like this. So now when you pay Facebook $500 a month, and you can say there's 180 leads that came out of that, there you are. You can actually get a cost per lead, cost per estimate, and then cost per job. So that's the most important thing. I'm going to back that out of there so I don't screw up my spreadsheet. But that's where it gets super fun, where you can actually like look through your analytics and make some really good decisions there. So yes, Jay Carey, I recommend Facebook and Instagram marketing. I would do this before you just shovel money at stuff like this. There is so much you can do organically, right? And I would argue if you're 500K or less, what you should be doing is basically have a ripping website, 20 to 50 bucks a month, Google listing. And I'll show you this here, guys. People ask me a lot of the time, well, like Google listing, you just sign up and then you're on Maps, right? Yes, but you can actually treat your Google Maps listing like a dang social media site. So here's the deal. Here's my town. I actually have Ask a Painter and the painting company on there. So here's my painting company. You can see on here, whole bunch of reviews. We get in there, we manipulate all this information here. I think they're actually you can chat through Google listings. I think they're actually just getting rid of that. See, like here right now, they even have a tab, start advertising right now. This is basically Google AdWords, give or take. But you can look in here. If you go to manage your business profile, And what you can do, ooh, we got lots of interactions. We got a whole bunch of new reviews I can look for. You can look in your performance, you can advertise photos. Here's the thing. You can treat this just like Facebook and Instagram, where you can get on there and you can just upload some photos, add photos right here. Let's see if I got any on my desktop. Do we have any photos on the desktop? Absolutely. Let's get a picture of Jay on one of the sites. And you can, yeah, you treat this just like a social media site. Now, nobody knows the Google Analytics, right? So here is my pending picture I just uploaded. You can also get in there and do edit profile, messages, photos, performance. I believe there is a way where you can do some updates too, where you can start captioning your photos and things like that. And yeah, so basically, it's one of those things. If I don't know the algorithm, almost nobody does. If somebody did, you'd have a cheat and a hack. Here's what I know to be true. Okay, here's what I think to be true. The more soup you make out there of touches, uploads, images, people knowing you're right, the more that Google shines upon that. So if your social media is strong, your website's being updated, you're putting a whole bunch of images regularly on there, you will be shined upon in that sort of thing. So let's see if we can do, where is it? Let's do an incognito. Let's do painter, new, Prague. Oh, we got my friends Carlson. We got Blue, and then we got, yep. So you can see that Matt Carlson is a friend of mine in the industry. He's one of, oh, wait, here we go. Hold on a second. I want to share that tab. Come here, share this tab. Yeah, because I went incognito. I don't think it's sharing my tab. Let's do this one. Yeah. So here's how you can, come on, baby. There we go. So I just typed in my own company under incognito here, and you can see Blue Painting, friends of mine, Matt Carlson, friends of mine. You can see that they're sponsored. Ooh, we got Adam Weinzerl, too, friend of mine in the industry. All three of these guys are larger painting companies, and they advertise real heavily. So you can see they show up in the first three, and then you see sponsored, Matt Carlson, and then there's me right there, and you can actually see Ask a Painter Live on there too. But and you can start seeing. Here is 10 best painters in New Prague, Nick Slavik. See, there's my Facebook that shows up. There's Yelp that shows up. There's PCA that shows up. There's my website that shows up. There's Better Business Bureau, Scott County. There we go. Let's see. There's Matt Carlson, sponsored. Oop, then there's Nextdoor. Then there's House. Then there's Procore. Then there's Instagram, Home Advisor, Mighty M, pressure washing equipment company, MapQuest. All this stuff. Yeah, so you can tell if you just get on there and just be active out there, you can create quite a bit of soup that'll help you out. So it's a pretty cool thing, and I love to see all my friends on there too. They're raising the standard of the industry as well too. So let's bring back up this bad boy. All right, get rid of that. There we go. Yep, there's the other one. Cool. So that's basically what my strategy is this, which is just get out there and be active. The worst thing you could do is wait till November, you're out of work, and then go crazy at this, shovel a lot of money at it and all this other stuff. It's better to just be consistent. So I have a weekly rhythm that I get in. It doesn't take that much time. In fact, with Facebook and Instagram, I'll show you this here. We can do, you can actually schedule about 45 days worth of posts. They can be paid, they can be unpaid. But basically, what we have here is you can see my posts that are scheduled out here. I schedule a post on Facebook and Instagram every day. And I keep a huge Google Drive folder of all of our images and things. So it doesn't have to be anything more than this. I mean, it's basically, you can schedule a post. And it takes me about half an hour to 45 minutes to schedule about 45 days worth of posts, give or take. So again, you can have your stock writing, your links, your everything, and just put a nice picture on there. And it just shows everybody you're active. It's just good because we get busy, right? And then we have a whole bunch of time and then we dump a bunch of stuff on the internet. It's better to just be consistent and do that stuff. It's a very important thing. So let's see if we got any more questions here. Thank you everybody for watching. Mike Chavez, good to see you. Good to see you. Any questions, any comments you guys have? I will address those. I was just going through some economic indicators from my company here. Let's see. We got, decks and weather have been interesting. So, strategy that we've been testing out for a lot of years in my company is we have a whole bunch of seasonals between 10 and 15 that come back every year. And we train them hardcore on exterior projects like decks, pergolas, porches, things like that. And they're typically college kids, teachers, high school kids, things like that. And they're just great. They're great. They come back every year. The culture's awesome. They bring their friends. And we train them hardcore on decks. We have a flexible schedule for them because we do get rain days and things like that. Another strategy we employed is seasonal assistant project managers because there is a surge. I mean, you're looking at my graph here, and you can see that in the summer we have some increased we have some increased demand, increased jobs and things like that. And our two project managers, it's a big job to do that stuff, to do it really well, to give that client that good service. So what we do, we recruit two of our seasonal guys that are very, very good, either maturity, personality, experience, things like that. And we even have one of our seasonal guys, our young college kids, going for construction management. So we pulled him in and we trained him how to be an assistant project manager so that we can help him along his way into the construction management field. And they do a whole series of tasks out in the field to help facilitate our project managers who are there. We're kicking off projects, we're closing them out, we're doing color matches, we're supporting crews, we're checking out potential callbacks if a client has an issue or a warranty issue on a project. And it is seriously one of the secret sauce things that helps us produce as much as we do in the summer and give our clients that amazing experience. And I hate even to say secret sauce because it's really just helping. It's just humans helping, but it's a very specific thing that I don't see very often in the industry. To me, it's basic, it's simple, it's common sense, but it is something you don't see. And that's why I mention it here. It's one of those great things with the assistant project managers, the morning routines. So when I put on my operations manager hat in my own company, I do a series of things right away in the morning. I like to knock out a bunch of stuff in the morning, and then we start going on with the tasks of the day for our specific jobs. As operations manager, I believe I should be the one that has the glue between all our craftspeople, our subcontractors, our trade partners, our estimators, our project managers, our clients, and things like that, looking for efficiency within there. And one of my favorite things to do is our morning routine, where we first go down to our fine finishing shop downstairs, our production facility, and we make a plan for the day for all the stuff. We go there, support the crew that's in there for the day. Excuse me. Then we go up and we verified every single time punch, every single time card, every single time log for every job for all our W-2 employees. Next thing, not only do we want to make sure all of our people's time punches are accurate so they get paid, we also want to make sure for job costing, all the labor is allocated perfectly to the jobs so we don't have to guess later on. And we divide that. Our assistant project managers control the guys in the field, and they track their calendar and their little movements all over, because sometimes they'll go to 3 or 4 job sites in a day. And then we allocate all that time correctly. And that's what makes our job costing like pinpoint perfect accuracy. And the rhythm is daily. It only takes about 10 or 15 minutes a day, but it's a very important thing. Then we make an assistant project manager plan for the day. We look at projects that need to be kicked off, closed out, color matches, gear or coatings ran, potential callback issues, things like that. And we make a list of all the things for our assistant project managers to knock out during the day. And then they go execute. Then we get down to our jobs, give or take. So it's a really awesome thing here. Russell Lindsay, how's it going? Love the content. This is what we're currently working on improving. Absolutely. I also signed up for Business Accelerator, my man. Again, there's a link in the show notes here for the Business Accelerator. You guys, you're going to want to get in on this stuff. It's an amazing thing. And it connects you. It shows you what a professional company looks like. It's made by me and other subject matter experts in our industry actually doing it. And then it connects you with people who can actually help you get it done here. So, all right, here we go. Travis Dowland, how are you, my friend? As as a mental for the retreat, would you say that statistically based on the data and feelings from your recent vacation, has Matt Kuiper's short length trended down towards the knee, or short length? Oh, his shorts that he wears, or trended up the thigh, if that's possible. Statistically speaking, year over year. I will say this. I did not see the American flag shorts this time. I know Matt's watching on Instagram right now, but I will say this. Tasteful, but still very small, So we were all just trying to see what the trend was, but I will say this. He's consistent, he's stable, and I feel like he's leveled out on the craziness of shorts, give or take. So Travis, you'll have nothing to worry about at the retreat. But again, the retreat is a safe place for Matt, so um, you never know. Maybe those American flag shorts will come out again. It's a good one. So, all right, Ronnie, bom dia, my friend from Brazil. Good morning, my friend. All right, I'm looking at my notes here. Oh yeah, last thing, I'm going to fill you guys in. It'll probably be this next winter, but we are going through an entire process of now revamping our estimating process as well too. And actually, June 3rd, 2 days from now, is the day we basically implement it into the company. So we have a brand new estimator. We have an estimator, Ian, who's been with us for years, and we're going to have new software. We're going to have a slightly new process, new presentation for the clients, and yeah, it's the same strategy, the same ethos, the trust, and the follow ups is all there. But we're connecting a bunch of new bits of software and automation and things like that. So that'll be fun. And I enter into a 3-week training process with our new estimator come Monday, and yeah, it's pretty rigorous. But we hope to get somewhere between 35 and 50 estimates in over the course of 3 weeks, implementing the new software, also supporting and training Ian, our other estimator, who's we want to revamp that system too. And yeah, just really looking forward to this. It's going to be a fun bunch of weeks here, especially as we enter into summer. And I'm really not traveling that much anymore. I think I have one big travel thing in June yet here. I got to go to Cleveland for a little bit, but other than that, we're pretty stable. So yeah, that'll be a lot of fun. Yeah, and then that's about it, folks. So we just had that awesome Kuiper vacation. My travel will lighten up a little bit here, minus retreat and maybe one other thing I have this summer. We'll hit it hard again this fall, no matter what. It's going to be awesome. Then 2025, we got some big plans in the work. We've already been talking with people in the PCA, and it's going to be some pretty awesome stuff coming up for you guys. Expo location was announced. We're in the summer swing of things. Yeah, this is just a lot of fun, guys. I really do appreciate this. I'm looking at my tabs to see. Yeah, we got our sales tracker. We shared a little bit with that. We got the leads there. Travis, for real though, to cut your high peak off to level it, what would be the plan? Cap production, cap sub usage, or plan more subs to handle the high peak? Yeah, that's basically it. Over the last bunch of years, for about 4 years, we've been using trade partners along with our master crafts people in the company. And every year we keep leveling up more and more with them, just because we're only limited by our ability to execute our business plan. And we're also not limited by demand for what we do yet. So really, I believe, Travis, a thing that I think both of you and I know here to be true is this, which is there's very few things that are limiting us besides ourselves right now in this industry. You're more commercial than I am, but I still believe in some way that you may have a couple more limiting factors just because like the commercial and industrial painting industry is a little more professionalized. So the prices are probably going to be a little more stable, but still you find people like Harpeth Painting in Nashville, where honestly, it's basically, they don't decide whether their company, the market doesn't decide whether their company is bigger or smaller. They kind of decide whether their company is bigger or smaller. And we're seeing that a lot of places. So I will say this, I'm seeing a lot of hybridized models. Even me with all my training and stuff like that, W-2 people, employment, think about work differently nowadays. So it's going to be very much harder to grow a 50-person W-2 painting company nowadays than it was 50 years ago, right? That's just the truth. I don't necessarily blame a lot of W-2 workers. There's actually a lot of very bad employers out there. And there's a huge gap forming that has formed and is even getting exacerbated between, the top, there's 6 humans. There's 6 humans in the United States that are as wealthy or wealthier than the bottom 50%. So we've always had this gap between the rich and the poor, and it's just getting a lot now. It is a lot, and that people's lives probably aren't actually affected by that. But when you keep seeing that on the news and on TikTok and Instagram, it does create a lot of animosity, and people start thinking about employers differently. Now, the problem is, I'm not a bad employer. We take care of our people. We pay them a hell of a lot of money. We give them a hell of a lot of empathy. And so the sad part is, a lot of people will treat me and other good employers like that, right? Like no employer is perfect, right? We're still all figuring this out, especially in this new world. But the problem is there is a lot of stereotypes and stigmas and bad juju that we got to overcome as good employers. And I know that people's employment will be maximized if you can find a good employer that teaches you, pays you well, gives you a little bit of flexibility, but also has pretty high standards so that they can pay you more, things like that. And you want to find those people and you want to lean into them and see if they actually mean what they say. And yeah, sometimes it's hard for people like us who actually mean what they say and like legitimately think and care about their people a lot, right? And it is what it is. But this will change, just like all macroeconomic things change. We will continue to sort of preach excellence and give people opportunities they will not find anywhere else, support they'll not find anywhere else. And if they want to come do it with us, I'm all here for it. I will put my arm around you and we will do a lot of great things together. So yeah. Yeah. Travis. Seasonality makes it hard. Oh yeah, dude, absolutely. Now it's not impossible, but it is harder. So, yep. And you're the man, Travis. Always love talking with you. So, all right, and Mike Chavez on Instagram. Truth. Thank you for that, my friend. Okay, everybody. So, you know what I'm going to do? Close this show out here. We can go back on family time. My young hot shot high school office coordinator Jack is having a graduation party today. So me and the family are ramped up. We're going to go to that. We love that guy. The PCA, folks, the Painting Contractors Association. You guys have heard me talk about it for a long time now, but anybody who's come near me or been at an expo and heard me address the entire 1,000-person crowd about it, I think you understand how much of an impact the PCA has had on my life. The Business Accelerator, not only have I gone through it, I was one of the ones who helped create it along with Jason Paris and others as our offering for what this industry needs, right? All the things that ails you. What about production rate estimating? What do you charge? How do you find people? Where do you get all the leads? How do you schedule? All that stuff is answered with basic business professionalization. It's typically not a magic app. People aren't typically going to solve this for you. If you're a business owner, you have to do two things. You have to solve labor, you have to solve leads. If you could find people to shovel money at and solve those for you, now there is no barrier to entry and everybody could run a painting business and the profit is gone, right? So if sometimes this feels hard to find labor and find leads and then keep them all consistent, it is. And guess what? It's a privilege of being a business owner. You will think about it more than employees. You will spend more time than employees. 40 to 90 hours a week, not a big deal. That's what you do. If you're a business owner and you want to grow a business, you want to get it professional, you're going to have to put in a lot more time. You're going to have to risk more and you're going to have to solve things that the standard employee will not solve. Not good or bad. That's a privilege of owning a business. And guess what? The PCA, with its 1,300, 1,500 members, Business Accelerator, painter training, and all that, we're all here to help you. These are not mysteries. Every one of these things we know how to solve. It's just, can you coach up the human enough, like Travis is saying, is the limiting factor. So am I, to get it done. So I appreciate all you guys. This is awesome. Look forward to awesome events. Go to that PCA event page. We're having Women in Paint, Spanish speaking, craftsmanship forum, commercial, residential, expo, all these things all over the country. And our new executive director, Jill, and her assistant, Jessica, our event planner, are going crazy. They're actually planning multiple years of events here. So, yeah. Yeah. All right. Last question. We're out of here. Mark Willem, how long on average do your people stay with your company? I'm finding out that 2 years seems to be about max for me. Well, here's the thing. I believe you can skew this number a little bit higher. I'll leave that question on there. God, I used to bang my head against the wall at this stuff for a long time. When I grew up in this industry, I still believed that people would get a job for a good employer that supports them, pays them really well, takes care of them, flexibility, benefits, and they would stay there forever. Turns out there are many things that good employers, I will call myself a good employer, but that's all relative, right? On average, I pay more, we care more, we're more empathetic, we're more flexible, and we have more benefits than other people. We offer our people a lot more time and money freedom than others. So I'll put myself in the category of good. The problem is there are so many things going on in people's personal lives, and the stigma of mobile employment is not there anymore. Or people don't really have a problem with every 18 months jumping jobs and putting it on their resume. And I will tell you this, I know that's not a good strategy. I hope those people know that's not a good strategy. Staying with something, getting good at it, finding a good employer, and then staying there for a very long time, unless you want to start your own business, is the best strategy ever, because a good employer will give you opportunities you're never going to find anywhere else. They'll keep constantly educating you, mentoring you, training you, coaching you, things like that. And honestly, right now, there's so much out of our control that I have been perplexed. And over the last 5 or 6 years, we've seen pretty good people doing pretty good things make decisions that don't necessarily put their lives in a better position, and then they leave your company. And that's fine. It's their own personal choice. They can do whatever they want. But you look at some of the choices, and recently there's been a couple of employees in the past who have kind of flaked out a little bit. Their attendance started dropping off, their job site performance fell off a little bit. So I kind of had to like counsel them, mentor them, performance plan them, and they eventually just ended up leaving the company. Came back now, and they're starting to ask. They said, I've had another couple jobs, haven't really found what I'm looking for. Turns out you actually paid a lot and you're very flexible. And this is just data I'm sharing with you guys. This happens everywhere. And this is the problem with being somebody who cares about their employees, which is it just burns you when somebody makes that choice. I'm not saying this is the best choice you could ever do and this is the only place you should work and that nobody else can treat you like this. But it is a thing where, listen, if this is your first job with a company like mine, you're going to think that everybody treats you like this, treats you well, pays you well, takes care of you, is flexible and all that. Magically, you find out there that none of those things are true everywhere else. That you get forced to work Saturdays. They don't pay you well. There's no pay scale. You sit down with the boss once every December. Maybe they give you $1 an hour raise. They're not flexible. They force overtime. There's no benefits. Then you find out that it's a problem with being a good employer who does honestly care is you're going to have a lot of that. And you know what? I'm slowly making peace with that. I love my people to death. They're going to make decisions that I hope benefit them and their families, but I'll always be here. I'll always be here. And I'll always think about them. Heck of a lot more than I probably should. So, but that's it. That's the culture I want in my company. I want caring and empathy, but I also want super high standards because that allows me to pay people more and then you get to keep people more, things like that. So that's kind of what we get today. So yeah, man, I think if you can keep somebody for that, you're doing pretty good. I know you can skew it a lot farther. If you run a super efficient professional company, you make more money, you can pay your people more and give them more flexibility. The more my company has done well financially, the more I relax as an employer and the more I realize like, okay, this is a proven thing now. I can pay my people a little more and you're really there. But when you're growing a company, that's not always a thing that's obvious to you. So Jay Carey, I've never done it yet. I'm discussing it with a few past employees, but I don't know. It's a weird quandary. I'm trying to work through it morally to see not only is that something I should do, but what will it do to the culture of the company to have them back? So it really depends if there were technical violations or core value violations, one of those things. So we'll see. I'll keep you updated. You can message me anytime. All right, man. Love it. Chris Kent, always love to see you out there doing your stuff, man. Love it, love it, love it. All right, everybody. You have a good rest of the weekend. Appreciate you all and have some good family time, everybody.